actually used it. StreamYard.
Yeah, it's good. It works. So the way I would do this is, I mean, it's pretty. Cash in. What is that? NT? Is that the currency? NT?
I don't know.
What company is this?
Oh, I just screenshotted it. I'm not even exactly sure. I just kind of picked a random one. But let me
It doesn't matter. It's fine.
okay.
And then, I mean, you could make it the green color too. I mean, you could. I mean, you could try to match it maybe. I'll just go with that one.
Oh, so you just talking about like just kind of manually?
Yeah. Do you know how to do this?
Yeah. So I didn't think about to do it that way.
I mean, that's the easy way. Then I was gonna try to do it the dynamic way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it changes.
Okay.
So if everybody's watching, this is Dow Stock Talks. He has another finance channel. He wants to put this chart into Excel, so it looks kind of identical. So now to yeah, I mean, this is the easy way, just to do it manually. And I'm going to try to do it the more dynamic way after this. And you could kind of manually change the size of the boxes. Other assets. So that's a top one. I can't really see what that says. But yeah, you get the idea.
Right.
And then you can manually change it, change the sizes. That's how you do it the easy way. Asmin, what's up? Thanks for joining. This is Dow's Stock Talks. He has a channel talking about stocks as well, and he wanted to put this this chart from Simply Wall Street into Excel, so we could kind of use it for personal reasons. So that's pretty much what it would look like manually, but if you were to do it more dynamically, let's just see if I can do this. Let me see if I can set it up to. This might be a little more difficult, but yeah, it's probably not going to look like. I don't think I can make it look like that. Do you want it to look like that, or you just want the information, or?
I guess whichever you're able to do. I mean, I like that particular format, but if it's easier to do it a different way and kind of visually kind of catch the same thing, it's fine.
I think it'd be hard to do it dynamically in the box. In a pie chart, it's pretty easy. But let me see. I've never tried it in a box before. 5 people. Ismail, what's up? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. 3.8. Okay, so let's see if we can put this into a box. See, it's easy in a pie chart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that gives you the sizes, and like if cash was bigger, you see cash gets big here.
Right.
But okay, but that's it. Let's see if we can put it into a box. I've never done this before, but there might be a way. Is anybody good with Excel on the call? We want to get it to look like this. The chart looks like this. This. I'm not sure what this is.
Oh, you might have. Think you found it.
So I don't know if I don't think I get it in this format exactly, but
I mean, that's fine. That's the way that's set up is fine.
Let me. just use the merge. Sorry, I have to complete some homework. But I want to see the dollar amounts too.
Yeah.
It should be, okay, here we go. Value.
Okay.
And then you can probably format that.
Right.
If you wanted to change it to like with the dollar sign in front.
And change to the 50 to 100. I just want to see the you.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
This will be dynamic. So you just have to create a list. Select the cells and merge the cells.
Okay. And what was
What does that mean? Like? Just merge. Select the cells. What cell? These cells? Select these cells? I'm not clear what you're saying. Yeah, so it'll move depending on like what you put. And you could change the colors pretty easily. Like if you wanted that to be, okay, the fill. If you want that to be, well, you don't want it all to be yellow. Yeah. So you can like color code it to make it easy to identify. You should be able to do most anything. It's a hard color to look at. Change everything. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I guess that's it. Just create a list. Make sure you have the titles and then the names and the amounts, and then just highlight it and hit insert. And you could choose whatever, I guess, graph or chart, and just choose this one.
Okay.
You could do anything, I guess.
Yeah.
And then if you want to change the formatting, there's probably ways around that.
Right.
You could, yeah, well, let me know, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do, that, like how you have it now. That was pretty much it.
Okay. Anybody on the call want to talk about any stocks? Let's I always like to look at this screen, this website. It's the top gainers and the top losers and the most active for the day. Support.com is up 20%. Have you been following that, support.com?
Nah, I haven't been following support.com. Most of the ones lately I've been kind of following is like the bigger tech firms. I've kind of been following a lot of tech firms, but as far as that particular one, I haven't been following that one.
Yeah, that's a short squeeze. Has anybody been following support.com on the call? I did a video on that when it was trading. I forget what it was trading at, but it was kind of low, maybe 12, 13. And it went way up to over 40. BBIG is going up a lot. It keeps going up. I don't know what's these aren't like good companies. These are just all like kind of like meme stocks, I guess. So it was.
Hold on, Scott. I'll be right back.
Yeah. It was 550 back in June. Then it fell to $2, and now it's over 10. BBIG. ESPS. General Mills is up 4.5%. GameStop. Smart Sheet. Clover. I've been seeing that a lot. Cody. That's an old one. Big Five. That went up a lot since COVID. It was really low when COVID hit. And it was down to $5 less. Wow, when COVID hit, it was down to $1.
Jeez.
I did a video. I valued it at like, I think like 18, but it went way higher. Damn, $1. That would have been a great pickup. The thing is, it's hard to put your money into these things. Even if you're really confident, it's just hard to like put more than a few $100s into these speculative type investments.
Yeah.
And it's so stressful if it goes up and down, like you never know what to sell.
Thanks. That's true.
Like if I bought like AMC or GameStop, I probably would have sold when it went up like 30%. Like I wouldn't have waited for it to go up 500%. Like it's just, I don't know how you can figure this stuff out. Like it's just all kind of just like gambling, and like investing, not gambling. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with options or buying penny stocks, but and you might make a few hundred, a few thousand, but like there's no way I would put like a big chunk of my money into one of these stocks. But that's the only way to like hit the millions. But it's so unlikely you're gonna hit it. You're probably gonna lose most of your money in like 49 out of 50 times. You'll probably lose the majority of your money. So it just seems so risky. Global has been going up a lot. I just did a video on this is a really interesting stock I just did a video on. Let me share the screen. All Set Ehome. Has anybody heard of this company? Well, somebody asked me to do it, so somebody must have heard of it. AEI, All Set Ehome. They're building a community for like a healthy kind of community that's using solar power, like good for the environment, and you get a free Tesla if you buy a home in the community, because the Tesla is how you generate all the energy from like the Tesla grids, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think it's better. Let me pull up the presentation for the company. I gotta find a presentation. I don't know where it is now. Okay, I think this is it. Okay. Oh, it's on screen. So this guy, Chang Heng Fai, he has a bunch of REITs and other companies, so he's pretty successful. I think he's a billionaire. He's the one who started this company, and he's a chairman. He owns 50% of the stock. So they have 3 business models. So they're creating like a community. They have 2 communities they're building, one in Texas, one in Maryland, with like hundreds of homes in like a community. And if you buy a home, that's one of the business models. If you buy the home, you get free solar energy and a free Tesla with the home. Or you could rent the home. That's their other model. If you rent the home, that also comes with a solar system and a Tesla car. And all the people who rent homes, that's going to go into a REIT, which is going to pay 6% dividend on a REIT, because he owns 2 REITs, this guy. You guys know what REITs are, right? Eamon, you know what a REIT is, right?
Yeah, real estate investment trust.
It's just a company, and the company buys real estate properties. It could be commercial real estate, or it could be residential. They're doing residential, but you can buy supermarkets. That could be your REIT, a supermarket REIT. You could buy doctor's offices, any type of any real estate, and then the REIT owns the properties, and then they rent them out to people or businesses, and then those rent or lease payments, they go to the all the profits are paid out to the shareholders. So they have to pass through at least 90% of the rent and lease payments out as dividends. That's why REITs pay high dividends usually. But you don't get the tax benefit from a REIT as you do a regular stock. People don't realize that. You get taxed on long-term capital gains on a REIT, no matter on all your dividend payments. But on a regular stock, if you own it at least 60 days, the dividend payments are short-term capital gains. Is this? I could show you the chart. I don't want to. What the hell? Okay, so so this is how dividends are taxed. So if you own a stock for less than 60 days and you receive dividends, then you get taxed on your as ordinary income, which is on the high income rate, like between 10 and 37%, depending on how much you make. What's that background noise? Maybe Eamon, can you mute because it's kind of loud.
Let me see.
I guess I can mute you. So if you so ordinary dividends is taxed at a higher rate. So if you're a college student, you don't make money, then you get taxed at like 10%. But if you're a businessman, you make like $300,000 a year, your dividends are taxed at 37%. Depending on your income. But if you own the stock more than 60 days, your dividends are taxed on the long-term capital gains rate, which is 0 to 20%. So if you're a college student, you don't pay any taxes on your dividends if you own a stock 60 days. But if you make a lot of money, you might pay 20%. But for REITs and other structures, it's you always get taxed on your ordinary income tax rate, which is the higher rate. It's just something to consider. If you own a REIT and you get 5%, you're probably better off getting 4.5% on like a regular stock, like whatever stock that pays 4.5%. You probably make more money after taxes. Okay. I should stop talking about these things because I think people leave when I start getting too deep into. So yeah, so that's a company's. It's still a lot of background noise. Interesting. So that's their 3 business models. And they have to use Tesla. Look at the name of the company. It's Allset, A-L-S-E-T. Allset Ehome. That's the name of the stock. Like if you Google it, if you look for the stock, that's the name of the company, and it's ticker AEI. Does anybody know why it's called Allset? It's just Tesla backwards. He just named it Tesla backwards, the guy. It has nothing to do with Tesla. Like Elon Musk is not part of the company. But I think he's trying to use Tesla's name to kind of maybe get more marketing. I don't know. So he has, and there's these farms, and they teach kids how to farm. It's supposed to be sustainable living, a whole community, and it's all. Every home has panels, solar panels. So if there was a blackout in these towns, these homes would not be affected because they would just pull from their power sources. And the reason he's doing Tesla as the car is because Tesla is supposed to have a robo-taxi service in the near future. So if you're home for like the whole day or however long you're home and you're not using your car, you can just hit the button and your car could go out by itself and pick people up as a taxi, and you can make money on your Tesla. So that's why I think that's a big reason he wants Tesla, so people can make money when they're not using their car, or they can just drive. Their kids can use a Tesla to drive their kids to school if they're at work or something, and it's autonomous. So, and the 2 properties are in Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, 689 homes. And then in Woodlands, Texas, the Woodlands, which is near Houston. That's their second property. And they mentioned it's 100% pre-sold, which is, I don't really understand because they don't have that much revenue. So they say it's 100% pre-sold. Maybe it's just people said they'll buy it. They didn't actually pay anything. And they're working with, for the Maryland property, they work with NVR, the home builder, and they are building the homes. And then the company will either sell or rent out the homes to people. They're supposed to be pretty nice homes. I think there's a picture of the homes. There's another picture. Oh, they're here. So they're pretty nice. They're pretty like modern looking. And they all have solar. It's probably expensive, I would imagine. You're probably paying a premium for all this stuff. And it's supposed to be healthier. Like these HEPA filters are supposed to eliminate like germs, and it's good for coronavirus. And Tesla stores all the power. They have these storage facilities, and that's how, if there's a blackout or you just lose power for whatever reason, or like you can just pull from these Tesla storage facilities, so you'll never lose power. There's always going to be backup. I don't know. Would anybody live in these places? It's pretty interesting, but it just seems so out there. Like it just seems like such a hard thing to accomplish. Like it just seems like so many things that have to happen right for this to work out. And the stock is really low. Like it's trading below its IPO price. So it IPO'd around $6 last November, almost a year. And then it got up to $27.50. Pretty much after like 2-3 months. And now it's down to under $3. And it's only 100 million market cap. It's a really small company. I don't know. It seems a little too risky for me. What do you think, Eamon? What do you think of the company?
Hold on. Can you still hear the noise in the background, or is it still like a?
I think it's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, honestly, most of the companies I pay attention to, normally, if it's normally like under 5 billion, I normally don't pay too much attention to it. But like I don't know, I just had a lot of bad experiences with companies that had a market cap more than $1 billion. It's kind of like a toss up to me. But I mean, it seems pretty like cool and all, but I mean, I probably do a little bit more. And this is true. This is not a company that's traded over the counter, is it?
No,
Oh, okay,
it,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Um,
it may be soon if it keeps going down in price. It's on the Nasdaq,
oh, okay, okay,
um,
well, yeah,
but it's getting down there.
yeah,
I mean, every company is so exciting. It's like, oh my god, they're gonna change the world. But like,
yeah,
it's they almost all like 99% of the time they don't do anything. Um, Nothing really happens. So to find the next like Tesla or Microsoft, like it's just yeah, it's just such a gamble, and I don't know, but people like this stuff. And anybody have any comments? Anybody want to look at a different company, or is there anything like out there in the market? I could show you the Dollar Tree I'm doing tomorrow.
that should be an interesting one.
I didn't look at the numbers yet. Like, this is my base case model. I just got everything set up, and I'm gonna go through the 10K. What's up? Whole enchilada. BRBR. Have they broke ground yet? Carl, yeah, they didn't really haven't done much with the business yet. They only have like 3-4 million of revenue. But yeah, Dollar Tree looks good. They have really good ratios. PE below
14 PE,
15,
that's solid.
price to sales below 1,
Yeah,
3 price to book. They have a high ROE. I wonder why they have such a, and then the stock has gone up. Well, that's 2008. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it's come down from its peak. It was
mm,
something I kind of learned recently I learned actually a lot from doing these videos. I never really understood why I kind of understood why stock prices go up and down. Because when there's more buyers, the stock price goes up. When there's more sellers, stock price. But I didn't really truly understand that. But I think I understand it more now. It's based on purchase orders. Like you see with this stock, you see all these red lines. Those are sell orders. So the sell orders were so much more than the buy orders. That's why there's so much red here. All these sell orders, and that's why it brought the stock down. And when you see the green is more buy orders than sell orders, and then it pushes the stock price up. So if on Reddit, for instance, if 1 million people said, let's all put sell orders like on Dollar Tree. So we're gonna say, well, you have to own the stock. Let's do the opposite. Say on Reddit, on Dollar Tree, the stock is trading at 93. So tomorrow, there's 1 million Reddit users that put 95. That's going to buy it at 95 or 94. Because obviously 93, anybody can buy it. So if 1 million people put a 94 in, the stock will start shooting up. 94, and then if people put 95, it'll keep going higher and higher based on what people put in as their. Did you know this, Amon? Did you know how? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I was just while you was looking at that, I was looking at the percentage of institutions that owns the Dollar Tree, and apparently I just quickly checked. Simply was it's saying 90% owned by institutions. So that's some of the things I kind of look at. So I don't know if you've seen it on there, but yeah, I
Yeah.
just
So
checked. Yeah,
Vanguard owns 11%.
like I went to the one all the way at the bottom that doesn't really kind of break down the actual companies, but just
Yeah.
overall, yeah.
I think that's it says 93% held by institutions.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
that's generally I mean, institutions don't know everything, but
right.
that's usually a good sign when institutions own a lot of the stock. That's usually means the stock is good, or it will probably go up because institutions, they have all the power because they could buy hundreds of millions of shares in one shot, and we can't buy that many. Even if 1,000 of us together could only buy, we can't buy even more as one bank can buy. So institutions can move the market if they got together. Even just a handful of them got together, they can move the market or move a certain stock.
Yeah, and one other thing, I know you're not like a big fan of technical analysis or whatever, but I noticed a lot of ones when a lot of institutions own a good portion of the stocks out there, they normally have you can normally be easier to identify like the support and resistance because there's like certain levels where institutions they can at least hold that price point. I know you're not like a big you're not really into technical analysis, but I did notice that when institutions own a bigger portion of the company, a lot of times finding those supports and resistance. I mean, I guess it depends on each individual one, but they typically normally have stronger, I want to say supports. You can check for this one.
How do I look at that? The only reason I don't like follow that stuff is I don't really understand it. But if I understood it better, maybe I would talk about it more in the videos. How do I look at how do you look at this support stuff? Like what's the best? The
All right,
candle?
so Zoom. I normally try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Maximize it so that it can become like bigger. Well, yeah. Oh, so normally with for like I said, I'm not like a technical analysis expert, but I normally try to just start off. I'm looking at the daily chart, head on the daily chart, and you see that's kind of too close.
That's like that?
Uh, do, do you use TradingView? TraderView?
I could
Yeah,
go to it.
yeah. I mean, that's what's the one I normally. It's kind of hard because I can't, mess around
Yeah.
with it.
Well,
But yeah,
let's go what you know. I mean,
yeah.
I would talk more about this in my videos if I understood it more. But so where do you go from here? Just pick a
Oh,
stock?
well, yeah. You can just type it in. Yeah.
What? Okay, we'll do Dollar Tree. Okay.
All right. So okay, that'll be a good one. So with I don't know how much you familiar with it, but what I normally do is so there's different types of can you change it to the candlesticks or you know
Um,
It should be like under indicators or something like that. It should be like one that's like, oh,
On the indicators,
yeah. See, and see if you can
candlestick
go.
patterns. This one?
Well, those are the. So to change that one, click. See if you can click on the I might actually have to see if you can click on the line, like the actual. No, I mean like yeah. See if you can click on click on that.
Right click?
I'm gonna have to do it on my end. It's kind of hard, you know. Just looking. Let me pull. I'm probably do a split screen so I can go see yours. All right, so give me 1 second. So
Hey, Odar, what's up?
all right, so symbols.
If anybody on the call follows this stuff, click on a chart. Okay, left click or right click? Okay, left click doesn't do anything, so I'll right click on the chart. And then how do you change the candle? ID in the top bar. So this is what you mean by candle?
Oh, let me have to go back to the. Yeah, that's. Do you have the hollow one? I normally like it when it really doesn't matter, but I like it when it's not hollow. It doesn't matter, but it's just kind of what I'm used to.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
So what does it mean, candles? I know what green and red it represents, but how does candles help you
Yeah,
identify?
so it's just a visual way where you can see the price action. If you zoom in on one candle, so yeah, so as you
Like
can,
that?
all right, yeah, all right. So let's look at that one. So the bottom of the red candle, go all at the bottom. That would be well, that would because it's red. It goes. The stock price went from when it went down. So the opening would be at the top and then the closing would be at the bottom. But if it's a green candle, the price went up. So the open
Right.
would be at, yeah. And then the peak, I mean, wicks, that shows like the highest it was in that that integral of time. So when you're looking at the daily chart, that was the highest it was for the day. And the other one was
So
up,
the
yeah.
wick of the candle is the very top is where it peaked.
Right.
And then
In that time period. So like if you was to switch it to like
in this
minutes,
day,
yeah,
in this
right,
day, 98, and then it went down to 94 or something, 93
right,
in that day.
right.
Hey Ben, what's up? Long wicks shows rejection. So green is good because it went up.
And a lot of times, uh, just like a simple way for us, like some people use like moving averages and see is if the stock normally once it gets close to the moving average, is it kind of bounce off. Sometimes some stocks may like a lot of times people look at the 50, 200, 50, 100, and 200 day average. So some stocks like normally once it reach that 50 or 100 day moving average, it bounces up. So if for the indicators, you can just see how it looks at just by looking at this is just a like for simplicity on purposes, just to see how the stocks behave off of the moving average. As if you put that as an indicator, it's like that should be a pretty much indicator that you're familiar with moving averages, right? Or like exponential averages, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with that. I usually talk about in the video 50-day and 200-day moving average in each video. Okay, so if I just have the cursor on this red candle, it shows me on top the opening, the high. Well, the high of the candle, I guess, is 97.90, the top of the wick. 97.90. The low is 93.41, the bottom of the candle. Opening is 97.25. C, I'll close. Okay.
Yes. So all the numbers, I don't know if all the numbers are at the top. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
like,
right here.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, right. Right here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. The top. So this green one has a wick on top and bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So the low was 91.65. That must be the bottom of the wick.
Mm-hmm.
And the high was 93.33. That's the top of the wick.
Right.
But it opened at 92.19. Wait, it opened at 92.19. It opened it's right near the top of the bottom wick. That's where it opened.
Right. And the box always the rectangle always shows where the opening and closing. So which just identify the highs and the lows.
Right. The wicks identify the highs and lows, you said, right? So I don't why does some have two wicks? Oh, because
the highest like one the one just means it's the one on the higher end and the other one is the lowest that it got.
But some only have one wick.
Which
like this. This.
So like if it only has one wick, that means that it didn't go lower than the opening price within that time period.
So the opening, okay, it opened at 90.15 and never went below 90.15.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. And then
go ahead.
But how do they know what point to start the wick? So it opened at 90.15, which was the bottom of the candle. Right. And then it was a high of 92.78.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it closed. Okay, it closed at 92.59, which is the top of the candle.
Correct.
But it peaked at one point. It peaked probably in the middle of the day at 92.78.
Right. So like
maybe a half hour before closing, and then it closed at 92.
Right. Okay. And if you wanted to, I guess, be more specific, like the actual more specific, you can change it to like the hour or the minute, so you can get a better indication of when did it actually happen.
Right. You could drill down even further into the candle.
I mean like by changing the time frames.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of the day, the hour.
Right.
Noon to 1, you can see the candle from noon to 1.
Right. So wait, zoom out a little bit. So like zoom out some more. Let's see. Some more. All right, whoa, that's too far. All right, so stop. Well, could go uh out, zoom out a little bit more. Stop right there. So like just by kind of looking at it roughly, for the supports, I try to whenever I would like draw a line, whenever like you can see, because most of the time supports is going to be arranged. So I would try to find the candles where if I drew it like a straight line, it would touch a lot. So that would kind of let me know of a solid. So I'm looking at it right now for some, like for I want to say about from June, July, August. It seemed like they had a strong support about around, let's just say $98 roughly. So if I was a trader and it end up breaking, if I was a trader and it's around that 98 mark, because this is the stage of they consider like consolidation, like it's trading in between uh, two
Mhm.
different ranges. But if it was a swing trade, whenever I seen that it got about the 98, that could have been an entry point. And then if I was just kind of briefly looking at it, maybe about the $99 mark, it seemed like it was kind of a resistance level. And then you had that one large candle that it broke out a lot of times when it's in the consolidation stage, when it either it's going to break out or, oh, okay.
Is that what you mean? Like something like this?
Oh, well, I was looking at it from just the June. It can get a little tricky because the bun a lot of times when it had gaps, things kind of work a little different. I'm not when they're talking about the gaps and stuff, it's not too much. But yeah, so right. So I, for example, I would have. Don't you see that line? I would have drawn it across. I see what you're like. Um, see where that. So okay, see the top of the line where you have it close to that like 107 mark on the yeah the line. What I would have done, I would have pulled that line down.
Like
Well,
that?
no, the same line, not a new line. The click the end of the yeah, and I would bring that down into where don't you know that green candle is? Stop right there. Well, you kind of wait, go down some more, down some more, down some more, down some more, stop. So right there. So what I was kind of looking at, so whenever I see a lot of candles touching and then it bounces back up, that could let me know that that's a strong support. So it held that support for about 3 months. So when they say support and resistors, someone might end up putting a buy point if they was kind of looking at it from that time period as a entry point of the at around the 97 mark, and then if you wanted to make a short sell, maybe once it got to about the 97, end up selling there. It's just kind of a way of looking at it from a technical analysis. But this is just kind of like simplicity. I don't want to try to get into too much, but just by looking at it quickly, that's what I would have kind of noticed. But like I said, I'm kind of a beginner for technical analysis and stuff like that. But I do try to swing trade some crypto. I think I was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and EDA. But with the gaps and stuff, it gets a little tricky. I only know how to use a few technical indicators. I think I use the MACD, the RSI, and the moving averages, and I just kind of just try to
I'm gonna
whenever yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna learn more about it, and then I could explain it more on live stream. Do I have to join? I can't just look at it without joining? Uh, Yeah, so I'm gonna watch some videos, and then I'll try to make a video. What do you mean? What does he mean by? Can you explain how the gaps happen? Gaps where? What
Oh,
gaps
well,
do you?
see where that the green and the red. See how that's like a huge gap right there? Or
This
like,
red?
yes. So the gap from the so
Oh, like from here to here?
yeah. So that space right there, that large space. That's what I mean by a gap.
Like from here to here?
Right.
Like how does that happen?
Yeah, so like with the gaps and stuff, I'm not exactly sure how, like from a technical analysis perspective, gaps can kind of I'm not like I'm still kind of new to it, but gaps can kind of mess stuff up. So if there's a gap there, it can kind of mess up the way you might analyze it from a technical perspective.
So this is 825. It closed 106.32. 826. It opened 97.25. So he wants to know why it's not the same.
Like sometimes, a lot of times when you see a big price action between the two, it's like it could give you an indication that something happened there. So from a technical analysis perspective, it can kind of give you an idea that, hey, some news end up, let me see, gap up, gap down. Yeah, exactly, volatility. So that means something major happened in that time period. So if like you were going based off a previous price action, that may not be an accurate way to look at it because something drastically happened because you've seen the big price move, the big swing in price action. So when you see those gaps, yeah.
So 825, why is this blocking it? 825, it closed 106.32. Shouldn't it open 106.32 on 826?
Yeah, so that's normally what happened, but like when the gap happens, I think it may have something to do with something major happened in maybe like the after hours.
Aftermarket and pre-market?
Yeah, and it changed drastically. So because I know in the after hours, that's like when the prices can really swing. So if something happened after the market closed, it could be mainly it's probably going to be some type of new news or something that came out, and you've seen that big price movement. So if you were kind of looking at things previously, once you see that gap, you might have to reassess it because something new happened to make the price swing that big. That's a big swing in price. And remember, it's one day.
I always thought pre-market and post-market trading doesn't move price as much, but maybe that's changing.
I mean, no. Under normal circumstances, right? But like when you see it, it's normally means something out of the ordinary occurred for that to happen. So it's like it's not normal. So when you see it, something happened.
So this really tanked from 825 to 826. It really crashed.
See if that if earnings did they report earnings on that day or something like that? Because sometimes like when
can I see earnings, that in this website, or do you mean?
Yeah, it's at the bottom. You should be able to see it. Normally have something like E or something. You might have to click a button, but at the bottom, do you see anywhere like where it says like E or something like that? Like looks like a little chip.
Yeah, E, earnings. So E means earnings. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So looks like it opened much lower the next day.
Did they miss earnings?
Okay, so that clears up the mystery solved. So E for earnings. E for earnings. This earnings time it went up for the first time. The next two earnings, it dropped a lot. So they must have missed earnings. That's a funny thing. You can have a really profitable quarter, like extremely profitable, but if you don't beat analyst estimates, your stock goes down. And you could lose tons of money, but if you beat analyst estimates, your stock goes up. it seems so ridiculous. But as you just have to beat analyst earnings. It doesn't matter what they are. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if anybody else. And do a GD APS always fill. Looks like it open. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so earnings would explain it. Was there any? What's a good stock to look at in this website? Anybody want to throw out a stock out there? We can look at the technical analysis.
Let's
The gaps always fill. No, I don't. They can't always fill, right? Because it can open way apart. Support.com, SPRT. This is interesting. I find all this stuff interesting. Doesn't mean I'm going to trade with it, but I try to look at a lot of stuff.
Oh, see, yeah, see, like right there.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
But keep talking.
Okay. I can't. Let me see if I can see that. Oh man. Yeah, I'm kind of like new to this. I normally don't do live, so it's a little awkward to me. But can you guys hear me, or can you guys hear me clearly? Is there like any noise in the background, or?
Okay.
Okay, you can. Yeah. I was looking at they dropped a few tickers, for. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I remember when I did a video the day before they shot to the moon.
To the moon.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's so ridiculous. This is what the markets are these days. It wasn't like this when I started trading. Maybe it was. Maybe I just didn't notice. There's so much movement.
Someone said the squeeze.
A huge squeeze. But it's red here. It's not green. It went up so high. Shouldn't it be green?
Yeah, I've watched another video and he mentioned something about it. I think it's like the way the color from when it went from green to blue. It was something like, I'm not sure if it was it was some reason why that candle was red. I can't exactly remember the reason why, but I know when you see that, I would just pay attention to. I wouldn't pay attention to the color in this instant. I would just kind of pay attention to, like, if it, for example, if it was even though that one is red, I would, since it's higher than the green one, I would interpret it as, yeah, that is a little weird right there. I definitely, I don't, honestly, I'm not sure. What I'm thinking may have happened is some through the closing hours, something happened and then it started up high, and then maybe they found something else out and it dropped back down. So it can kind of get a little tricky. I don't know if someone in the comments might know, but I'm assuming, yeah.
So on 8/26, it closed at 1970. and it opened at 1505. So it went from 1505 to 1970. That's why it's green.
Right.
This opened at 3864, and it closed at 26. So it's red because it's closed lower than it's open, right?
Right.
Is that maybe that's why it peaked at $60, $59.69. It got as low as $26.33. Those are just intraday movements. So I guess if the opening, if it closes, if the close is lower than the open, it's red. If the close is higher than the open, it's green.
Yeah, I looked at some of the comments. Someone mentioned about it, said it was more selling volume on that one. So
right. But I think that's why it's red and green. If the close is higher than the open, it's green, like in this case. But yeah, but options do create more volatility. They're not profitable for the movement. Kingston, are you serious? Nobody trades on profitability. It's all trade on movement. It's all trade on speculation. Nobody cares about profitability in these companies. Fundamentals go out the window. It's just all about hype and news stories. If you want to follow day to day, it's all a hype. But if you want a long term investment, like years and years, it's just that's fundamentals. But that's what that's these young traders. That's what they like. Playing the casino. But yeah, but look at it.
Actually, I'm just looking at that that particular. So see where that gap happened? Where you were just talking about that. I think it's about $20 at the top part. So let's say about like $20 roughly.
The high is $19.99. Yeah.
Right. So to me, when I'm like, if I was kind of looking backwards, as you can see, once it dropped, it held at about that same 20 before. So to me, that, it may be too close to say, but I would say that's a strong support there.
The 20 is
at
support?
that point, like after, so after you've seen a major jump and then you've seen a huge decline, but if you notice it right around that 20 area, we've seen it spurt up a bit. So like from a trader perspective, I would kind of make note at that 20 mark, like maybe so maybe like at a buyer. So if it drops lower than that support, then I would probably put my stop loss a little bit lower than that. Because then okay, it, like I said, but the more times the candle end up touching the stronger the support should suggest. But because that was only, like 2 particular times, it may not be as reliable. But like if you're trading in a short window, I just want to see what people in the comments have to say about that. But if you notice it right around that type of point, you kind of see it increase a little. I think that could be simply because of the trader psychology. So if a lot of people are looking for similar patterns, a lot of traders may think the same, which kind of shows, okay, around that area, a lot of other traders may, hey, that might be a strong support. So at that particular time, they might hold it there. So I mean, it could be all psychological as well, and it normally doesn't hold for that long, but sometimes you can kind of see a particular pattern. I know that a lot of other traders, they really like when they see a lot of volume, because if it's a low volume, it doesn't really give you a strong indication or signal the direction of the stock. But whenever you see like a lot of huge volume, and sometimes you see certain types of like they call like head and shoulders and different types of patterns, it could suggest that the stock is in an upward trend. But like I said, with the trading thing, that's kind of outside of my level of expertise. I know a little bit from the basics, but yeah, I know far from a day trader Probably if I probably trade for a living, probably would be broke. But yeah, that's why I try to stick to investing. But like I said, I do this mainly a lot on like crypto. I normally swing trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA. But I kind of use like super simple tactics. I normally buy at a like whenever I see a major pullback, like for example Bitcoin, whatever. I think around it was like about 40K, and then I would have probably once it got above maybe like the highs was like 60 something, so maybe if like 54, 55, I would have got out. But let's kind of stick back to this. I always know about XRP.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to jump off topic. Let's go back to the.
So I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to try to learn more about it. But I can guarantee I can like show you how, like they say, these head and shoulders, these resistance points. I guarantee I could show you how, in many situations, it will be incorrect.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. A lot of times, yeah.
You can give me any chart, and I could show you patterns in any chart. If you give me a lot of numbers, you could always find patterns.
Yeah.
But to predict
much
the
easier
future,
to back test. Yeah, you're right. Like if you're back testing, it's easier. But like when you're actually in real time, you really don't know.
but like I said, I don't know this stuff that well, so I'm going to learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there is something to it. Maybe there's more to it than because people, I guess, say they make a lot of money doing this. I don't understand that, but maybe it is possible.
I follow this guy. Let me see. He's a swing trader. I follow a lot of his. Let me see. I think it was Ryan. Something. Hold on. He's like I would consider like he's this guy. If I can just kind of find his name, he's like a trader. He's a pretty legit guy. I mean, he let me see if I can. I think his name is Ryan. Let me actually find it. I think it's on Spotify.
So the 26th was the day before the big squeeze. So it looks like it closed at 1970, and then it opened at 38.64. So there was a ton of activity. That's the thing. If you're a regular trader like me and you, you wouldn't have gotten any action because it would have closed at 1970, and then when it opened up, it was already at $39. So you wouldn't have had the opportunity to buy it unless you bought it the day before it closed the market. If you bought it at like whatever.
So what could have potentially happened if you go back to the 23rd, like the 23rd, right there? You've seen, I don't know, sometimes that 3 green candles up or whatever, that could give the indication. I mean, like it's a whole bunch of what ifs and stuff like that. But at that, whenever you see like 3 green candles in a row, I mean that's normally like it's really a good sign. So right then, when they seen the 3 candles, if they would have got in up possibly around the $12 mark, and then I mean maybe they could have caught that even if they got in at 12 and then got out at maybe like 20. It's like I said, 23. It's it's with the trading thing it's all like a lot of what ifs, but I think normally with trading it's more about like probability and statistics. So like you're just trying to see, okay, statistically speaking, if the upside, how high would it be versus the downside, and it's just kind of like managing the statistics of that particular happening. I think they use the indicators in the price action to either increase that statistic. So I think their goal is to be right more times than they're wrong. So if they're right more times than they're wrong, about 50%, then I think that's kind of good. But a lot of times, I think with traders, they are going to be wrong. So, yeah, the whole trading arena is kind of a little weird. But I think I follow this guy. His name is Ryan Mallory, Swing Trading the Stock Market. I normally kind of follow him. He got a podcast. He talked about a lot of different stuff. He's pretty good. I kind of learned a lot about it from him. Yeah, but the whole trading thing, I think it comes with like a lot of experience. I noticed that a lot of traders, they only trade very few stocks, so they've been watching the stock for a while. Well, or currency, for whatever they've been watching the stock for a long period of time. So since they've been watching it for years and years, they kind of know what type of news would spike it up, or like how the stock will react if you're kind of looking at it or trading it for, like, for example, if all you trade is gold, and you've been doing that for years, it's a lot easier for you to kind of like know how people are going to react to the news, simply because you've been exposed to that and that's all you kind of follow. And it's
Right.
still, it's I guess with trading, it's more like how you react to once the cards is dealt with you. So once you see something, the ability to react, I think, is the best traders probably have the probably ability to have the best reaction once they see something happen.
No, that makes sense, because if you learn about a stock, you can predict it maybe better.
Yeah. So see how they have that those 3 red candles or whatever. Like I think there's like 4 or whatever. What someone may end up doing is, once it got to that 16, if at the 16 we see the volume start to pick up, that may be an indication where you could potentially jump back in, if you see what I'm saying, or not really.
On August 16th?
I was talking about the price, the $16 price, where the large green candle go to the.
Yeah, that was where it was before the big surge in price.
Right. So it's right there. So if I don't know, it's probably not going to get that low, but I would pay attention to the volume. So if it gets close to that price point and you start to see the volume picking up, it could show a reversal back to the upside. And like they as far as trading, they do have it is kind of a lot of math that they kind of look at to the distance that it would go up. They normally have like some type of triangle thing, and it shows you the amount of it is some kind of like math behind it. But if I seen just by looking at this quickly, if I seen it get to that price point and I seen the volume start to pick up, and like it was from red into green, and I'm saying each time it's going up a little bit, that could give me an indication that it might pick up some type of momentum. Because that's at that point, whatever new news that happened, whatever happened right in that about the 16 point, some new news happened. So once that particularly, I guess something ended up happening to blow over, that's kind of like a good, in my opinion, a good way that you could see a potential entry point. But the volume would have to kind of pick it up. But if you could you pull up the where you see f of x, the no, over somewhere. Yeah, and can you type in MCAD? Oh, wait, and no, I'm sorry, A.
MACD.
Yeah, I was looking for the MACD. Normally it's a built-in. Yeah, the MACD.
I should have known that MACD.
Oh yeah. Look for like the built-in. Can you click that one on the left side?
Oh.
Yeah, normally, let me see. That's weird. Yeah, normally the let me open my phone for a second. Because yeah, it should be somewhere that says just like where you can just kind of click. I think you clicked, yeah, I think you clicked it because I see it at the bottom. Yeah, you clicked it. Yeah, so I kind of use this a lot because this is probably one of the that and the RSI, the indicators that I kind of that makes the most sense to me. The other ones I didn't necessarily know that much, so I just kind of stick to what I know. So if you could make the MACD a little smaller, you make the chart bigger and the MACD a little bit, because for the MACD you don't need to see it that big. I'm like narrow it down some more.
Narrow down?
Well, that'll work. Yeah. So normally with the MACD, just kind of just a general sense, you would want to see that blue line go above the yellow line. So right now, looking at the MACD, whenever the blue line crosses below the orange line, that's not a good sign. And whenever it crosses above the yellow line, that's pretty much means it's a good indication, a good. One of the indicators is saying it's a buy signal, but indicators, they can be wrong. Like they said, they're indicators. Sometimes indicators can give you mixed signals, but if you see a lot of indicators suggesting a buy and you see a good amount of volume, it can give you a higher probability. But from my personal experience, a lot of indicators contradict each other. But there are some times where whenever you see a lot of indicators suggesting the same thing, it can kind of increase your confidence level that it could be a good entry point. But yeah, you gotta remember, indicators are always kind of lagging. So they kind of tell you after the fact, which doesn't kind of help you. Yeah. So you just kind of, with the indicators, I guess you gotta try to predict it a little bit. But sometimes what I normally try to do, if I'm looking at the daily, I try to go to the 4-hourly to give me a heads up of how it's kind of moving. So how I can try to see before the days of, like, let's just go to the right. So the hour, like when you're looking at like the hour on one hand could suggest that, oh, it's a good buy, but when you switch it the hour to 2 hours, it can be completely different. So that's why like I think you mentioned that candles are always like indicators. Yeah, so but sometimes, like if you see the hourly, 4-hourly, daily, and all the indicators are suggesting, most of the time you don't see it, but sometimes you kind of see it. If you're familiar with the pattern, the more things that you kind of see that give you an indication, then the better trade it will be. But like I said, I haven't done enough trading to be like, oh, this will work all the time. But yeah, but ironically, like it's kind of weird though, because I know a lot of traders that I know that do it for a living, they actually don't use technical indicators. They just kind of base it off of, they call it price action and volume. Ironically, there's a good amount that I know that do it for a living that they don't really even use like the MACD or something like that. But like I said, that's going out of my like comfort zone. I mess with a little here and there, but I definitely wouldn't put a lot of money. I definitely wouldn't be confident enough to put a lot of money on it.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to learn more about it, and then maybe I can put it into my videos and talk about this stuff too. Because
Yeah. But
some
I mean,
people
I guess from a viewer's perspective, since a lot is going on, I guess it could be a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
One extra thing throw in. Okay. I guess we'll call it a night. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. This is good to do these live streams. We can kind of talk about different stuff. Let me know if anybody wants to be on my live stream. Like they can talk, and like Eamon's doing right now. You can email me to the topic. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
all right. Have a good night.